Welcome back once again. It is Imuna and this is Noteworthy. React with a Purpose. This is another installment of Understanding Kevin Samuels. Now, I know another video, yes, because I need to understand before I can make commentary on the advice that's being given. I need to understand the nature of the person. So if you have just joined us, we have other videos. I'm going to link them in the description below. On this topic, we learned that a little bit about his upbringing, the things he said about himself, his first love, his first heartbreak, and now we are here. He's in the car, I'm in the car, he in black, I'm in black. You know what I'm saying? So, we vibing. So now we're going to see where he's going with it while he was talking to the brothers a couple of years ago on a video called Why Men Simp. And so I think this is important because he often asks women about their body count. So we're going to hear a bit about his body count. Let's listen.
Story after story after story. But let me just say this. Because we are guys, let's just throw some numbers up here. Not to brag about anything. But by the time a guy reaches his mid-30s is when he really starts to understand what it means to be a man. By the time you reach 40, you really become a completely different person. You become a whole man. You know how to get stuff done. You know who you are, you're self-actualized. So in your teens and 20s, a lot of guys, we're about getting laid and making money. And it's easier to get laid to make money, so we keep score by stuff.
Wait, pause. So, okay, he told them about your 30s and 40s and teens and 20s. He says it's about getting laid and getting money. And it's easier to get get laid during that time than it is to get money. And so they keep count. Let me see. They keep score. Keep score. Okay. Let's keep going.
Went through that phase to where, we had competitions to see who could score the most with women. And, when you start getting up, when you start having numbers in the triple digits, on one side, I was taught to be proud of that, but on another side, I felt kind of ashamed.
Wait, pause. Don't blink. Don't blink, because you'll miss it. He said they used to keep score, and they used to have competitions. Brothers, let us know if you had competitions in the description below. And then he says, when you start getting numbers in the triple digits. Triple digits. Like ones, tens, hundreds place. Ones, tens, hundreds place. Like hundreds. Numbers up towards 100 or more women. That as a man. Okay, so he says on one hand he started to feel bad. Let's just continue here.
It's like, that's disgusting. But then I thought about it. I'm like, well, wait a minute. That's nothing to be ashamed of. I just live life. No one told me to be ashamed of it. It was the way I was raised and programmed by the world. You got to be a nice guy. You got to do the right thing. You got to put everybody's needs ahead of your own. Every single relationship I've had, and I haven't had a lot. I've had a lot of women. Trust me, I've had a lot of women. I got some stories that I simply will not tell on YouTube. I've lived a broad life. I've done some, I don't have a bucket list. Let's just put it that way. I don't do none of that homo stuff, though. If that's what you do, that's what you do, but I don't do that. But the thing is... Pause.
This one is not going to be long. I just wanted to get that nugget. Remember he spoke about before, he has this, like he calling it dichotomy, these two different thought processes. You were brought up Baptist, you were brought up with your mother and her, please forgive the noise in the background, the interrupting, but you brought up in a space where you had a conscience, okay? And then in the other place you were hurt and you have your absentee father or your present uncle who is giving you a bad idea. So in the mind there's a battle about what's right, but how it makes me feel and what's wrong. So we just saw him justify. He said on one hand, you thought that's disgusting. That's what I thought. Like 100 people plus that means that there's something else going on there, right? Besides just you like to do this thing. There's some type of void that as a man, or even as a woman, but in this case as a man, that you're going to allow yourself, you're going to give yourself, you're going to extend your energies to over 100 different people. That I'm just gonna let that float for a little bit. And then on the other hand, I should have put but on the other hand, he had to make himself, because that thought makes you feel uncomfortable. If that's you, thinking on that thought is gonna make you feel depressed, or it's gonna make you feel disgusting, or it's gonna make you self-loathe, right? If we have come into that point, hold on, right? So we had to say, nah. I have to reason. I have to justify. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm just living my life. I'm reading my notes so I don't make up any other words. There's nothing for me to be ashamed of. I'm just living a full, broad life. Do you see how that worked? If I held myself accountable, then I would have to admit that there's something wrong here. This can't be right. This is emptying myself and emptying my soul, and not really finding anyone that I can connect with, do I feel safe with, that I feel vulnerable in. So yeah, basically there may be some people out there like Mamuna, that's you know, it's a modern world. But this conversation of modern world and the expectations and the fallout from our behavior, I think is one that needs to be had, because someone who's coming from this perspective, someone who's justified their behavior to nothing to be ashamed of and just living life, they're going to advise other people to do the same, so that more and more people can be in the same boat. Let that simmer just for a little bit as we come back and look at some of the advice he's giving people, and we can see through the lens of all the things that we just learned. So with that, thank everybody for tuning in. Like, subscribe, share, do all that nice, lovely, great stuff, and we'll talk again soon.